Welcome back to the Mavericks podcast. In this episode, it's going to be a little bit different, but also probably something that's going to stick around for a while. Right now, I am trying to figure out the methods or systems that I'm going to use for this next coming year. I'm having trouble jotting them down, so I figured I would speak to myself and write down the process that I'm going through, or I guess jot down or speak in some sort of recording, the process that I'm going to try and learn or figure out how I'm going to systemize everything, what I'm actually trying to do, get it all on paper. For today, what I have is I just have my whiteboard in front of me and then a pen and paper if I need it. So what I'm going to be doing is jotting down, in this specific episode, it's going to be two things. One is how I want to approach making content this next year, since I have a lot of content that I'm going to want to make. And also how to analyze how I speak, what I'm doing, the methods that I'm doing, what I can do to improve, and being somehow able to juggle all of that within the context of being an EMT and maybe even still doing paramedic school, because I haven't backed out of it yet. So that is the plan for today. I don't know how long this episode will go, but I'm going to try and at least tackle one of these things, and then I'll probably make some other episodes for the other things that I wrote down. But I want to probably make this something normal, since I'm going to be trying to do 6 episodes a week of just podcasts, because right now, I'm using my whiteboard, but I might try and make some sort of videos out of this. I just don't want it to be, because I'm going through my thoughts, right? So I don't want a video of me just going through all my thoughts, and I have this whiteboard, so I'll be writing things down and no one can see that. But for me, it helps put pieces together. So that's what I'm going to be trying to do today. And then once the system's all laid out and I've, test it, whatever, if it works, then I might make a video around, hey, this is what I do, how I systemize everything. And then I can also point to this episode in the future. So that's kind of the goal. As of right now, the topic is how I want to approach, if I can spell, content this next year, I guess. Long title. Year. And I'll probably be erasing a lot of this, but to summarize, right, it's 1,000 pieces of speaking related content this next year, which this episode's going to come out before the actual 2026 episode. So spoilers, that's one of my goals, is to get 1,000 pieces of speaking content out by the end of 2026, which breaks down into about 20 pieces a week, or 2.89 or something a day, which means I got a lot of work ahead of me, basically, especially with a packed schedule. But this is going to be my main focus. And there's different ways I can approach this. So one of them, I do want to do storytelling in some sort of a sense. So like putting pieces together in my life. And I have a system created now for writing down stories, like filing as I remember them, because it's hard to think of those off the top of my head, especially with some sort of purpose behind it that people can learn from. So that makes that a lot easier. Let's see. The days that I'm off, which are kind of like today, because I don't know what my schedule is going to be like once I'm an EMT, and I start on the 5th. So as of right now, I'm basically treating it as if I'm off. My off days, I have the gym or whatever. Today's Sunday, so I'm not actually at the gym. But on my off days, I have the several hours in the morning up until about 12-ish. And then from 12 to maybe 4, maybe 5, I have that time free, and I usually try and eat. But I also want that to be, if I'm going to record something, I'll probably need to record time during that specific window. And then I'm going to be doing Uber once, or I'm doing Uber now, but I'm also going to be doing Uber while I'm an EMT to make extra cash on the side, because I don't think I'm going to be able to cover what I want to cover using just EMT money. But I'll have like 3 days off. So on my off days, anyways, it's gym, like the typical, and I won't have to memorize this one too much because it's what I've been doing pretty much every day. So it's already engraved in my brain. Gym, eat when I get home, or try to, unless I want to wait. I have my sister, so I have to take my sister to work, usually at a different specific time. So I try and get everything done before that, which is usually 4 or 5, which is why I have that 4 or 5 number. And then after that, I do Uber. So I have that time window to edit, record, make a plan for either that day or the next day. It might be better to try and do it a day in advance so that everything's scheduled. I don't have to worry about it, but it just kind of depends. And then not only that, what I struggle with is not knowing what to record and how I want to do it. So considering we're basically doing 3 a day, ideally you want to have variety. So what I was originally thinking was some sort of gym video, because I'm in the gym every day, whether it's before or after my EMT stuff, but these are specific to off days. So I could do some sort of gym content, some sort of story content, so something with a moral, and it'll help me with my storytelling skills that I will eventually be in some sort of way, form, or fashion doing either courses or speaking eventually, because that's my long-term goal, right? So storytelling. And then some sort of podcast related thing. So it can be storytelling or something like this where I'm trying to put the pieces together on something. Because I know some people like this, but I'm not entirely sure how many people like this. It's enjoyable for me just because I get to talk and get my thoughts out, and it helps me put the pieces together a little bit better. And I'll have to learn and get better at that too. So it also gives me an opportunity to analyze later, which is another one of the things that I'm going to be recording probably today, because I need to figure out how I want to analyze content, or speaking, I guess, because I'm definitely not that good and I need to work on it. So let's say I have roughly a 5-hour window on my off days as of right now. And we'll say 1 hour is for eating. It doesn't really take a long time to edit or splice audio. I just have to go through it, make sure everything's good, and then I can just upload it, right? So audio is easy. Video is a little bit harder because I actually have to upload the video to my computer, which usually takes 20, 30 minutes, something like that, depending on how fast my download speed is. Then I have to cut it, splice it, whatever. Connect the audio because my mics don't record directly to the video. I have to record separately and then put it on there, which is another reason why I'm not recording this on my phone to be able to have people see or whatever. So recording with video takes a little bit longer to upload and everything. Audio is pretty simple. So, let's see. Mm-hmm. I think it's about 4 hours to either record, edit, whatever I need to do. I'm sure gem stuff would have to be spliced somehow. So, because it's a recording, right? Recording. And upload. And I don't even know what I really do. Because, I could talk. Like, plenty of people talk while they're at the gym. And then they cut different pieces of it. So I don't know if I want to do like one conversation or something. Or, even some days I could just put my split on there. But my split's pretty simple. I basically do the same thing every day, every week. But yeah, I could probably do that too. It just kind of, whatever day I'm feeling, I can mix it up. Because it's one of the big parts of my life anyway. So around authenticity, you want that because it's authentic. And it's me. I'm at peace at the gym, right? So that's good. Then we have storytelling, which in some way, shape, or form should have a moral. So moral / teaching point or learning point, I guess. Learning point. And then I also have to make time to then analyze at some point. So analyze and improve on those pieces of content. So that's a little bit of a branch. And then I'll probably wait a day after. So I'll probably post whatever storytelling stuff, recording, post it, wait a day, and then come back and try and analyze everything. So one day later. So that'll also take up a little bit of time. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to record another video, or I guess this is a recording audio, but around analyzing my speech, because I don't know exactly how I want to do that either. And once I figure out that, if I have a system, it's a lot easier to just do without thinking. So then I can just repeat, and then it's just part of habit. And makes it to where I can't skip out on it, because the main reason I don't take action is when I don't lay everything out, and I hate laying everything out. So, which is weird, because I'm relatively decent at it when I put my mind to it. But nevertheless, that's what we're doing now. And then podcast, it can literally just be some sort of conversation. So like what I've been doing with conversation with Terrence. So having someone on the podcast thinking about some deep conversations. I can do that on one of the days I'm off and just set a time aside later in the day or in the morning. Just depends, because I wake up early. And it just depends on if I'm doing it by myself or, like I said, with Terrence or someone else who wants to come and just have a conversation. So that's good, because then you can put pieces together that way. Then independent speaking point. Independent talk, I guess, is simpler. Talk. Which is just kind of like what I'm doing right now. Just putting pieces together on something that I'm curious about, or that I feel like I need to think about more in depth and detail, so I can analyze everything. Don't know how to spell either. Independent is what I wrote. Hold on. Independent talks. Squeak. Okay. Then I can also do some sort of storytelling too. So storytelling is just kind of like with the video stuff, or the content part of things. So like what's going to be on Instagram or TikTok, the video storytelling, because I think that's the biggest part of what I need to improve, and especially tying in some sort of message behind it, because I can maybe do it when I'm talking to people in person, but it's all over the place, and I know that, and good speakers aren't all over the place. They're very structured, so video storytelling, and then again, analyzing that as well. So we're at an arrow there. So honestly, I mean, if I was to do, let's say some sort of gym content every day, relatively every day, and then storytelling every day, and then podcast every day, or almost every day, because there's a little bit of wiggle room, right? Because we only need 20, so 20 divided by 3 is whatever. But if I do 2 a day, it's 2 times 7 is 14, which leaves 6, right? So that's what I was thinking. I do 7 gym, 7 storytelling, and then 6 podcasts, unless it's reversed the other way around. Because I literally just have to hook my mic up, press record, and then just talk. So these are kind of cool anyways. But that also means I'm going to be getting like 6 podcasts in a week minimum, which I think is going to be good for compounding interest, I guess. If people catch on, or if people like what I talk about, obviously, because, again, this is probably different than what most people do. But I like it. This is just part of my life, and it's easier for me to put the pieces together when I do something like this. And have a whiteboard. Whiteboards help. If you should get a whiteboard for yourself. So I have to do all that within 4 hours, relatively. And then, of course, in the mornings, I usually write and do some gratitude stuff. So that's usually pretty easy. If I start getting myself up at 4 instead of 5 and laying in bed for an hour, then I can probably squeeze another thing in here. I could probably use that time literally just to analyze, so I'm on a fresh mind in the morning. Actually, I might even do that. So I just wake up, do my morning routine, whatever, and then sit down and analyze one recording from the day before or something. And then write down the things that I can improve on it, what I can do. Maybe do a test run of saying the same thing that was in the video. Or not the same thing, but saying the same thing and then putting pieces together on what verbally I could change, or body language, emotion. Like right now, it's just kind of monotone because I'm just talking. So obviously when you're storytelling, you don't want to be monotone the entire time. You want to have bits and pieces, lower, higher volume, emotion, without getting too loud in an apartment complex. So for me anyway. But I think this is definitely doable. And I can even, once I start EMT, I'll have to probably readdress this. So probably like literally 2 weeks, I think. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks. But I'll probably just do EMT stuff for a week, figure out how the schedule's going to look, and then just readdress. Maybe make another recording or something, readdress how I'm going to do it. And then I could even do stories on EMT because, maybe not stories. Some of them could be stories, but just like there's plenty of EMT content out there that people talk about and make funny jokes about it. So I could even do that. And that's just another avenue of people I can reach, and then also just another thing that I'm interested in, obviously, because I'll be in the field. Hopefully. There's supposed to be like a 6-month training period or whatever, or not training period, but flex period is what they call it. So I'll be in that for a little while, but I'm going to try and just speed it up to make myself get on a truck. And this might get hard too with doing, what's it called? Paramedicine. Because that's supposed to take up a lot of time. But even then, I could probably just record some of that, so it doesn't really matter. So, I mean, nowadays you can record everything. But I think that's how I want to structure it, right? Gym, storytelling, podcasts, maybe EMT. I have like 4 hours a day that I can work on it. I just marked on myself. And my whiteboard's a mess now. It just has arrows everywhere. I probably have to go back and re-listen to everything because I was all over the place. But I think in a 4-hour time span, I could definitely do this. Just have to make a system for everything. So system for recording in the gym, I'll probably have to mess around at the gym, which I'm there long enough anyways. So that will be an experience. And I mean, I've recorded in the gym before, just not in a big gym. Well, I've recorded once in a big gym, but I can figure that out. Storytelling, I literally just have to make sure I'm writing stories down every day. If I can do at least one a day, that even keeps me up to date with what I'm trying to do. But that also gives me 365 stories at the end of the year. And that's 365 more than some people. Maybe. And I'm sure there's plenty of stories in there picking around at me. It's just hard to bring them out over and over. Like if you came up to me and said, "Oh, hey, tell me a story," I probably wouldn't be able to. Now, as of right now, I would, because there's one story in particular that's on my mind, and that's about me starting doing Uber and why it took me so long to do so. But that's only just because it's been on my mind the last few days. But it's really hard to come up with a story just out of thin air unless it's related to the conversation that you're in, which is what I usually would do, especially when I would walk up to someone and just talk. But nevertheless, but yeah, I already know that one thing that I can work on after this episode is the voice tone, my voice tone, because I'm not projecting much. It's kind of echoey in here, and I also felt it in my vocal cords. Like I'm not changing the way I speak almost at all, and it's weird because I feel like it wouldn't be that like I'm conscious of it right now, and I don't even feel like I'm doing it, but it feels a little easier on my vocal cords now. And I also noticed that, like in the episode that you'll see on Friday, I think like right after Christmas, it's partially results in like my vocal cords get kind of tight, but also I don't breathe much, I don't think. So it kind of like breathe in and then it doesn't come out. Or I breathe in and then when I'm talking, it stays in. It doesn't like release or anything in a natural way, like when I am actually having a conversation. So I gotta figure out how I'm gonna change that. And that's probably one of the big things that I'll be working on, because I definitely don't want to speak all the time like that. I want it to be more natural. But yeah, I think this kind of covers it. I think that's what I want to do: gym, storytelling, podcast, and then EMT stuff on the side whenever I get the chance. And then I'll know more once I start EMT. I just need to make a system for actually following through, which I can do this next week because tomorrow's Monday. So I'll be getting back from the gym. And then I can literally just sit down, pick a story. Well, I guess I should take something to the gym too. So I'll take some of my recording stuff to the gym, figure out what I might want to do. And then see how long it takes me to actually splice everything, put it together, and post something. It'd be like, this is a test. Test content. This has no emotional value to you at all. In the caption. And then some sort of small storytelling thing, which honestly, some of the stories that I might try and tell will probably be two-parters. So I don't know if that's something that I would let count towards the content, because then I can just purposely make stories longer, which I guess is a good thing too, because theoretically, when I would be speaking on stage, the people are up there speaking for 30 minutes at a time, so I'm making a short story a little bit longer, but then eventually I'm going to have to make that story even longer to fit more points, or specific points, but more in detail. So it's a definitely learning curve, and I understand that. So it actually might be good to do 1 part, 2 part, and then just spread them out day by day, which would give me a little bit more time as well. So, and then of course podcasts. I want to try and be more energetic on the podcast. Maybe these ones might be a little slower paced, softer paced, less structured, obviously, because I'm trying to figure things out. And then I'll have conversations with people. Those are where I'm going to try and be really more upbeat, just because I get energized from social conversations. Then storytelling, video storytelling. That's where I can really start practicing having emotion behind the story, which I think is going to be my hardest thing to do out of everything on here. But it's good because, again, 1,000 pieces of content in here. Just go for it. But yeah, I think that's going to do it with this one. I'll take a look at how long it was, but I'm going to post this today too, probably, just because I don't really have much going on. And then I'm going to record another one, I think. Well, I'm going to set up another one based on analyzing, especially with storytelling. But yeah, anyways, that's going to do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed it, just let me know and I'll do more of these. If not, I'll probably still do more of these because they help me. And maybe it helps you. Who knows, if you're trying to speak someday. But yeah, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and say hi to Athena for me. What's up, girl?